What's up, my brother?
What's going on? How
Yeah,
are
so I'm not making any plugs today, but and I'm going to apologize right in advance to Shayna. I wanted to send this out to her, but this T-shirt right here behind me,
Yep.
if you would like to have that T-shirt, all you got to do, text Red Sox to 44321, and the first donation I get, it could be for $1. I don't care. I will send you an email, and you'll get that shirt there. Sorry, backwards.
Hold
So
on.
Red Sox 44321. I'm gonna send you that shirt,
Can
and
I
it's
do
got our website on the back too. So
I'm
uh,
a board member. Can I do it?
no, you got to interview me, so I'm gonna tie you up for like 20 minutes, and then let somebody else win the
Yeah,
shirt.
that's right.
So it could be $1, it could be $100, it could be 1,000. I don't care. You send me a Red Sox donation, and I'll talk to you about that. What that means here in just a second.
Yeah, that's right. Because that is an important thing, and we will talk about that. That's a great thing. That's for a great cause, everyone, and we'll get to that. So, how are you, brother? Let's tell everybody a little bit about yourself. How about that?
Well, you already kind of spilled the beans. I'm a retired Marine, just like you are. But the thing about me is that when I retired, I was the executive officer of a Wounded Warrior Battalion, and kind of sparked the ingenuity behind the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy. I was also a baseball umpire, and I had a gentleman come up to me and say, well, he's one of my mentors in the umpire community. And he says, I'd really like to train veterans to do this job, but I don't really know how to find these wounded warriors. I'm like, bro, you know where I work, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I retired from the Marine Corps after about 25 years or 24 ish, and came down here to sunny Daytona Beach, Florida. But back in 2014, when I was still active duty, we kind of spurred this idea for the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy, and started with 14 brave souls that wanted to come out and try to get into the community back in 2014, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And every year we got a little better, a little better. We finally incorporated. We got our trademark. I mean, everything just started falling in place, and now really it's a facade.
Yeah.
This whole umpiring academy thing, and you and I've talked about this plenty of times. Our excuse is baseball. So we use this little crutch. Hey, do you like baseball? Oh yeah, I really like baseball. Good, come join our group. And they have no idea that we're talking about umpiring, but it's all just a ploy to do peer-to-peer support.
Yep.
It's the whole idea of a Wounded Warrior Battalion in the Marine Corps came about to house like-minded people in a barracks so that they could feel like people understood their story and they got it.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're trying to do. We're just saying, hey, you like baseball? Okay, that's going to be our crutch. And we developed this entire program to put together to teach wounded veterans, but generally veterans across the board, how to become baseball umpires and reconnect to their local communities. And then we pull them back together for peer-to-peer support, since we're pretty much all veterans training veterans.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what's cool personally, and I'll talk about me personally with Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy. Braden finished playing soccer, and Tisha, I played college baseball, and Tisha was like, "Hey, you should get back into baseball, either coaching or umpire." And I was helping with this summit the next week with the 108 Challenge, Eric Burgess, and one of the people that were speaking that week was David Pritchett, who's one of the board members of Wounded Warrior, and just happened to meet him, and he's like, "Yeah, you ought to come to the academy," and he worked it in because the academy was just a couple of weeks after that event. He worked it in so I could come. And Greg was nice enough to, when the other Marine Corps major popped up, to let me come. And, but I had not, that was last year. I
Wow.
medically retired from the Marine Corps on January 1st, 2007. I had not done one thing veteran related since that time, except I go out and I speak about PTSD and I speak to veterans and stuff like that. But I had not done anything with any veteran organization. So it really was, yeah, to get back in umpire, but it was like, it was to come and be around other veterans. That's what it was. It was that facade. I was
Mm-hmm.
excited about coming. And man, let me tell you what, it's brutal. It's like going back to boot camp.
Yeah. So the whole concept, about the umpire community is you go out to a baseball field, and you have a home team and a visiting team, but everybody doesn't realize there's actually a third team there. The umpiring crew is considered a team, and in some cases there's 6 umpires on that crew, like you just saw last night in the World Series. And those folks that go out on the diamond, they're the only ones that are there that could care less who wins or loses that game. So they inherently have to look out for each other. And a lot of the skills and techniques that are very hard to teach in umpiring, military folks get it right off the bat. I mean, you know how to wear a uniform, you know how to enforce rules and regulations, and you know how to be where you're supposed to be. And it's all the off-field stuff that, comes into play too. So, pretty much once we show them that, hey, you've got 90% of the tactics right now, all I got to do is show you where to stand. It's, as my vice president, Rich Padilla, always says, it's the best job in the game, best seat in the house, but you got to stand.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So the referee and umpire community inside of Convene is an awesome community, but you use it twofold. There's twofold, right? And let's talk about both sides of the house. But first, let's talk about how you're going to be using it, or how we're using it to bring the organization back together. And I want to touch on one other thing with that: bring the alumni back together as the organization, that connecting piece, but also the board uses it as well. So as a nonprofit, that's important to touch on because you're using it that way. And then we'll get into, because you are changing the paradigm of how umpires and referees will be training moving forward. And we'll talk about that. So talk about the organization.
Yeah. So am I going to get a chance to do some screen sharing here?
If you want to share, you are more than welcome.
Yeah, let me just do that, because it'll probably be easier if I just talk through my community and share it and kind of show everybody exactly what I'm doing here. So the umpires and referees community dashboard is the place for, if you've got a group that involves officiating of some kind. I want to put you in here, and I want you to be a group right alongside of mine. But inside of my group, this is the facing group that you can see when you come into our academy. And it's basically just general information. If you are curious about who we serve and what our criteria are for acceptance, this is just basic information. But like you were just talking about, the key for my group is the subgroups within the academy. And inside here, I've got some activity here for the board. I'm not going to click this one because it's restricted for the board only, so that we talk through various things that we need to do to make ourselves great. And but where the rubber really meets the road is inside the association group. And inside the association group, we use all of these buttons across the top for varying things. And I'll step back here in a second and talk about the syllabus, but the announcements really just kind of key everybody into what's new inside Convene. The message board right now, we hold monthly meetings, just like most veteran organization groups do. We hold monthly Zoom calls, and we try to reconnect our veterans through these Zoom calls. And in here, if you miss the call, I just post in there the Zoom video that comes out of the alumni meeting. But one of the cool things that we do about these Zoom calls is we always invite in a special guest. And our first special guest in October was Mike Everett, retired MLB umpire number 57. He's now on the staff with MLB as a umpire supervisor. So he came in, and he's very instrumental in another tab here. But he came in as our special guest, and it gives them an opportunity, as far as our alumni goes, to just kind of say, hey, Mike, what is it like working in the big leagues? And all of our special guests that come in bring something to the table, not just their knowledge, but they're also bringing to the table some of their own little giveaways. So Mike was generous enough to give away an MLB umpire jersey, your choice of an MLB hat, and an autographed book that was I think the 2017 rule book, because he was on the front cover of it. So he autographed that out and was able to send that out to one of our alumni members. So next month we're going to have Kelly Dine, who was a female umpire that worked the Little League World Series last year, and she's going to also be bringing something to give away to our alumni as well. And we use that time to reconnect, see how everybody's doing. If we need to take any discussions offline and do some more peer-to-peer support, it's a no judgment zone. It's just a place where we discuss a couple of things and let them know what's happening with the academy. And if anybody wants to go off on a tangent, we allow that to happen because it's just an open forum. Now, the discussion board inside Convene is really for, those private, I'm struggling with something, or I've got some things on my mind and I just throw some stuff out. And as you can see in here, I threw something out there because I was thinking to myself, my wife is my biggest support group. And if I didn't have my wife, I would be in, La La Land somewhere. And I don't know where the heck I would be, even if I would be here at all. But I started to think about it, and I really put this out to provoke some thought as to, besides your wife or significant other, who's somebody that you can personally count on? Now, if you look at that question, it's got nothing to do with baseball, but it's got everything to do with peer-to-peer support and who can I go to and who can I count on it and brag about them a little bit. And then now there's some other questions down here otherwise that are thought provoking as it comes to baseball and umpiring. But the reality of it is, you come in here, you can post a discussion topic anonymously, and you can get answers anonymously. And this is where all of our alumni and all of our staff that are inside our group here can kind of do our peer-to-peer support anonymously, just to kind of help each other out. The commonality is that we're all veterans and that we are all part of the academy. It's kind of like, my kids, every time we went to a new duty station and we lived in base housing, they would go door to door and knock, and they'd be like, hey, do you have kids my age to play with? They knew that the commonality in base housing was you had to be there, you had to have kids. So all they need to do is figure out, well, how old are your kids? And so you can kind of use that same tactic in here with, we've got all this commonality, so let's have an anonymous discussion about something and keep it professional. And for the most part, we do. And this is a really good board. I love this board because it's just free flowing and nothing going on. But so here's where Mike Everett comes in, and these experiences and the adult learning theory and understanding truly how to get some of these more complex rules into your head. We have developed these experiences. If you ask me, and I'm a little biased, these things are probably the greatest thing since sliced bread when it comes to learning how to umpire. And what we do and the way we break this thing down, and I'll try to do this thing as a preview so that you can kind of see this thing. I give you in background information right from the bat. I tell you exactly what the instructions are for this particular experience, and I give you a rule reference. You can read it if you want to. You don't have to, but I'm going to give you a video or a series of videos, and all I want you to do is watch the videos. And then when you go to the next page, I think I need to. That was background. When you go to the next page, I give you a presentation, and it's really the layman's terms for that specific rule set and what you truly need to understand. This particular one is on what's called a balk, a B-A-L-K. And I love this video. You can go out to YouTube and watch it. Just type Budweiser balk. This is really funny because the gal basically asks her boyfriend in a bar, what's a balk? And he has no idea, even though he's just yelling at the umpire. So it's pretty funny to watch this one. So I go through these presentations. As you can see, it's just very easy speak. This is what a balk is. And it certainly reads a heck of a lot better than this. Pitcher illegal action. This is, oh my gosh, I'm going to get lost. But when you go into the actual presentation, I give it to you in layman's terms, tell you what you need to be looking out for. And then inside the review answers, I get to ask you questions about what you saw in the video. And this is one of the best things I like about the experience is I can click the background while I'm into the video, and I can go back and see the video again, watch it 1,000 times. And I can also review the rule reference, and I can see from there, what portion of the rule probably applies. And then I'm typing this, and then after this is all done, I can rate everybody else's answers when I see them after the experience question session is over. And you can kind of say, okay, I think I'm going to be in this group. I'm going to be with these guys, and these guys are right. But you know what? They could be completely wrong. and it's just a matter of you being, rating it. So here's what we did. In lessons learned, every single one of our lessons learned is a video of me and MLB umpire Mike Everett walking that video, or as Mike says, unpacking the video. And we unpack the video and we watch it to a T, and we're commenting the whole time. This video is particularly good because it was part of the Zoom call that we did. But you get to hear from an MLB umpire how you should be looking at the video. So I can't type that out. I mean, I can't write down, that perspective. And so every single one of our experiences has a lessons learned video of Mike Everett and I discussing the exact video that's there. And then on the discussion board, a lot of these videos I receive from different organizations, umpiring organizations, and I'll put their comments in there in case you want to know about it from a local level. So in a nutshell, that's an experience all the way, broken down as far as, as far as our association goes. But the reality is none of those are required. You come in here, you could be part of the discussion board. You want to learn a little bit more about something, like, maybe you were out working one weekend and you said, I had a batter interference call and I'm not 100% sure I got it right. You could go to the rule book and start thumbing through it, or you can go back and you can review your experience of batter interference. You could watch the video again. You could listen to Mike and I talk about it, and it's going to click to you, and it's going to make sense. The intent here is to have, honestly, 100 experiences. I want to get a bunch in here because the rule book is very complex, and I want to get this in here so that the Wounded Warriors that come in here and learn these things will really get it and grasp it. And then the idea is, after that, is we're going to tie it into a syllabus. And every summer when we do our initial training camp for 10 days, we're going to actually use these experiences in the evening to do our rules discussions and helping them. So why is all this important? Yeah, it sounds really good. I'm revolutionizing the way that we're teaching umpiring techniques and tactics. But at the end of the day, and I'll stop sharing here, at the end of the day, the sole purpose of the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy is to provide that veteran peer-to-peer support and to build their confidence to be able to get back into their communities and do other things again. It doesn't necessarily have to be umpiring. It could be anything they want it to be. But when I can arm somebody with the knowledge of going out onto a diamond and being able to adjudicate a play, it instills a confidence that I just took an impossible task and I accomplished it.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it gives them such a feeling of accomplishment that they can go out and they can do other things, whether, like artwork or maybe it's baseball. So
Yes.
that's really one of the most important things. So I mentioned the 10-day camp in the summertime. And this is where I'm going to circle back the wagons to the t-shirt here. The summer camp is our initiation camp. So this is an awesome opportunity. I partnered with so many different organizations through, the Injured Marine. It used to be called the Semper Fi Fund, but now they're called the Semper Fi and America's Fund. They help me move people around the country and put them in hotels. But the other conglomerate that helps me out immensely is Umpire.com, and they partner with all these other organizations that provide umpire equipment, and we get it all donated. So when a veteran comes to us, we give them 100% of the training. We give them all of their gear, from the mask to the uniforms to the shoes to the shirt. I mean, we give them everything so that they can go out, look the part, feel confident, and get on the field and do the job. And we do that through free donations. Now, when they get all their gear, we give them an opportunity to work a game at the end of the camp so that they can build that confidence up. But, after that camp is over, we have the Convene site where we can bring them back together for discussions. But we'd like to get toe to toe with them again and kind of, have a revisit with, that peer-to-peer sport. And it's just really, hey, come over for a barbecue kind of thing. Well,
Yeah.
they're across the country. So we look for opportunities where we can get our alumni back together. And with what we're doing here with Red Sox 44321, we have an opportunity in Fort Myers in January. In Fort Myers, Florida, the Red Sox and the umpiring organization down there have invited us to come out and send 4 of our wounded warriors to Fort Myers to umpire in their annual fantasy camp. And the fantasy camp is where just a bunch of Red Sox fans can come together and dress up like Red Sox baseball players and actually play the game of baseball alongside of retired Red Sox players, some of the greats of the game from 20, 30 years ago. But those games need umpires. Well, we want to send 4 of our guys down there, and we don't like them to pay for anything. All we want them to do is say yes. So we got to pay for their flights, we got to pay for their lodging, we got to pay for their registration, and we also want to pay for their food. And so the only thing they have to come out of pocket for is incidentals if they need, toothbrush, toothpaste, things of that nature. So this T-shirt's going to go away to somebody that can give me some help to get these guys to Fort Myers. Red Sox is the name to type, and you type that to the number of 44321. So I'm going to go back over to you because you were just displaying something that you need to talk about.
Mask. There you go. I don't know how I got that, Greg. How did I get that?
Just stumbled across it, right?
Yeah, how did I get that?
So you said earlier that the academy is brutal. And yeah, because what we do is we're trying to cram a 5 to 6 week umpire school into a matter of literally 6 or 7 days. And so we bring everybody out in the morning at 08, and we use a lot of military terms, we use a lot of military jargon. You're out at we want you showed up for formation at 0800. We're going to have roll call, and then we're all going to the fields together. Make sure everybody leaves the hotel at the same time. And then when we get there, what's the first thing we do? We got to line it up, and it's time to do our daily 6. And you go through the daily umpire drills of calls that you're going to make all the time. And then we go into drills and we break everything down. And we do this the entire day until about 4 o'clock. And then at 1600, sorry, for us military impaired, is 1600. Then we break for a little bit to get you back to the hotel. We're going to feed you dinner, and then we're going to go right into an evening session of teaching you some rule book stuff in the hotel. And that goes from 18 to 2000. So from 08 in the morning until 2000 at night, you're working all day for 7 days. So yeah, it's brutal, it's long, but it's very, very good, and you learn a lot. And at the end of the day, just like in any military school, we look around the room and we say, well, we need to have a motivator. Who was the one guy or gal that came to this camp that you looked at? And we're asking this question to the alumni or the students while they're there, and we ask them to say, who's the one guy or gal that you looked to every day and said, man, if they're doing it, I can do this too. And they gave you some energy and inspired you to move forward. And so we allow them to award them the motivator award. And last year, the motivator award was this mask over here that you see. So it's a camo mask, and it looks really pretty cool. And we give that out to the individual that was designated as the motivator for everybody else. And then on the academy side, we look to the student that attended that's going to best carry our message. The peer-to-peer support, the baseball's an excuse, the who's going to go out there and get after it the most, and be the leader for the class, and carrying our torch. And that's our honor graduate. And I believe you got that mask from somebody, didn't you?
I was the honor graduate.
Woohoo! Whoop, whoop.
2019. Yes.
Yes.
But
I think
yeah.
Yeah, you had a wood burn plate back there somewhere too.
Yeah, I had to move it when I painted the walls, so it's not beside
that's right.
me right now. But I got a plaque. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I made, and it has the honor graduate. But we just sold our house and painted the walls, so I moved it because it was leaning against the wall.
Yeah, so I apologize, but I try to talk really fast to get that all in 20 minutes. So we're probably out of time now, aren't we?
Yeah, we're a little bit over, but you know what? Again, Greg, this is such an important, the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy is such an important organization. I am so glad that we're going to take it and run with it within Convene. I think it's going to be great. you know how much it means to me. I mean, I'm a board member now, but it just means a lot to me to be part of this organization. I think you're doing what I hope Convene does, bringing people together. And I mean, you are doing that because it's such a wonderful group of people. It was awesome a couple of weeks ago. It's been a couple of months ago now, but I'm umpiring at a tournament and somebody gives me this big bear hug from
Yeah.
behind, and it's Kyle Bueno, one of the teachers, well, one of the coaches, or people that help with it, and I've taken it and run with it. I'm umpiring again this weekend. So I umpired
Yeah.
last weekend, I'm umpiring this weekend, and I've made the jump where I'm going to be umpiring high school and college next year already. So I'm playing the facade. They don't know that I'm really I'm a
That's
rookie.
right.
They don't know that I've really only umpired about 60 games in my life, but no,
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's what you're doing is a great organization. It's a great thing, and so glad you're part of. I'm part of the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy, and I'm also glad that you're part of the Convene Communities family. And it's really kind of cool when you get a major league umpire like Mike Everett to say to you that you're changing the paradigm of how people are doing.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah. Yeah, he was talking about, all he had ever had, besides other people, all he ever had, if he had a tricky play, he'd have his umpire manual and his rule book. And he looked back and was like, man, if I could have had an old umpire sit there and tell me on a video how I should have been looking at something, it totally would have changed my life, and how he said maybe I would have been a crew chief a lot faster. Who knows?
yeah.
But he even teased about it the other night when he was talking to us. Is that when he gets on a crew, he's always really excited when he's got a young rookie umpire on his crew, because he's like, fresh in the rule book, so these guys are going to know it. So when we come together, I'm just going to look to him and be like, "What you got?" so so yeah, I mean, these things are tricky and they change every year, and having somebody come out and say, I mean, when you think of these experiences, it requires really, I mean, once we put it together, it's there.
Yeah.
And you can go in at your pace and do it as many times you want. You could email me and I reset the experience for you. But it's something you can go in and you can look at and you can analyze it. You can stop the video, but it's all right there. It's not like a lot of this other stuff where that open for interpretation because of a video you watched, and you never get any resolution out of it. But
Sure.
by putting that video in there of me and Mike Everett talking through the video and telling you how you should have looked at it and what you should be looking for, it really expands and really makes the experience the value that it is. So
Well,
it's a great setup.
I'm doing a podcast here next week. It won't be this week, but it'll be next week, and it's on scenario-based training. And that's really what we're doing within the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy. I mean, it's scenario-based training. Here's your scenario. What do you do? And I often call you, I'll leave the field and I'll call you and I'll say, hey, Greg, let me tell you about this call. Like the one that I told you about where it was raining, the field was wet, and it was only 2 outs, and the catcher turned around and handed the ball to the umpire. What do you
Yeah.
do? That's
Right.
blue. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's scenario-based training and it's putting people in that. So we're taking the platform and using it. And I mean, golly, we're taking it and now we're all the way up into using major league umpires, guys who have umpired the World Series. I mean, part of this Wounded Warrior Umpire advisory board, right? Laz Diaz hopefully will be one of them, right? Possibly.
And Corey
Um,
Blazer.
Corey Blazer and Laz Diaz just did game 1 of the World Series last week.
Yeah.
And so really, really cool. But it's more than that. It's again, I appreciate you. You're like a brother to me. You're one of my best friends, and I love talking to you. But I'm so glad that you're part of this family, and I'm looking forward to bringing you into the Convene family more, because you hear everybody talking about how it's such a family. I know Melinda's watching right here. And Melinda, Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy's website wouldn't be what it is without Melinda.
Oh no. Yeah, she's a rock star.
Yeah, we need to give some props out to her, and that's really pretty cool that she's been able to help out Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy and does what she does, because she's special for
Yeah,
sure.
she
So,
sure is.
thank you, Melinda.
Thanks, Melinda.
So, all right, everybody. Well, we went a little bit over. We're going to be coming back here at 12:30 with Jason Berry. You don't want to miss this one. We have Jason Berry, Eugene Brown, Jamon Glover, Shayna, Wendy Cook, Jeff Bateson, and then me. And then make sure to text Red Sox at 44321. 44321. Get yourself a T-shirt. And it's a wonderful T-shirt. But yeah, Greg, thanks for being a part of this. I'm looking forward to just continuing to grow this community. If you're an umpire and referee, you need to come in here and learn how to do it from the expert Greg, because he's really changing the way that umpires and referees are being trained. For sure.
Yeah, and final shot here. I kind of walked through the academy and what we're using Convene for. But if you're a group out there and you think that there's ways that you can adapt my techniques to what you want to do, man, get in touch with me. I'll help you out, and I'll get your community up and running. We'll get you rolling. If it's a referee and an umpiring community, I might even share some content with you. So, but you got to get in touch with me, and I'd be happy to help you create a group and get you rolling.
Yeah, innovative training. That's what Shana just said. And I will tell you one thing. Hopefully, in the long run, we will become a mobile app. This will be the guy that helps us do it right here.
Who does mobile? What's that all about?
So Greg will be helping us in the future merge the platform into a mobile application. So that's what he does. So, all right, Greg, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Matt.